Well, we're back. By the music, we're back in the saddle, I guess. I'm gonna probably, yeah, I'll leave that for a minute. So anyway, hi. All right, let me turn it down. I like this song. Okay, everybody. Real Deal is back to go over some of the latest stunts in Town Hall. It just doesn't end. This is one of many videos sub-videos that I'm going to be able to come up with from the last select board meeting. I know there's more, but this one was really startling. In fact, it's causing me to lose sleep. Really, this is distressing. You can see by the title, Selectmen admit to conspiracy to violate ethics, want town to pay legal fees. You're going to be shocked. We're going to be going and talking about this. It is an extension of the David Vijant problem, where he's appearing before the Ethics Commission. They've had one pre-hearing conference. Gotta get these legal terms down. So a pre-hearing conference. His actual hearing doesn't come up until I don't know when, but he's got a continuation of the pre-hearing conference is going to be August 8th, which is next Friday, a week from today. And I'll be attending that and recording it for you so that we can see it again. And it's not the hearing itself. It's just putting things together, which it's very informative for the public to see what the heck's going on and how serious this matter is. It's very serious. This isn't like going to a select board meeting and getting into a debate with the select board. This is serious legal stuff, and it's costly to Dave, and I can't say it enough. He needs a lawyer. This is not, and the town needs psychiatric help. I'm going to show you. I don't know what else to say. This is mind-boggling. I think some of the lack of attention to following the law has been so inbred in our town government that nobody knows. I think these people don't believe they're breaking the law. They think the law doesn't apply to them, but they have no conscience and no conscious awareness of any legal issues. And what's even more startling, when you're going to see this in the video, that they haven't spoken to Town Council. Our Board of Selectmen apparently have not spoken to Town Council about the impact of the ethics complaint against David Vijant, our water superintendent, and the fact that there had been apparently an ethics complaint that also included the same story, included our fire chief, Gary Shepard. And he apparently, from what I understand was his own words, paid a fine and moved on. And Dave's holding the bag for everybody. So I don't think our Board of Selectmen has inquired of Town Council what this means to the town and how the Board of Selectmen should be moving forward, what their legal responsibilities are, if any, what they can and cannot do. Sometimes it's important to know what you can't do, even more than knowing what you can do. And this is an awful failure, and it's costly I believe it could be costly to the individual members of the Board of Selectmen, two in particular. And if they don't get this right, the town, and I've expressed my concern about other bidders on this case. I don't have any evidence to say anybody's suing anybody, but I am concerned that the other bidders who didn't win the bid to build our water treatment facility could be talking to their lawyers about, do we have a case? Because if it's my opinion, I'm not an attorney. I'm not legally reviewing this and saying this and that and I'm not a law tuber. I'm just a me tuber. Just a me tuber. So but I'm concerned that other bidders who lost the bid because of ethical violations on the bidding process, that they could sue, because if the Ethics Commission determined that Gary Shepard inappropriately got the bid based on failures, ethical violations by town officials, whoops, I don't know. These kind of things, this is a very big contract, and it's a big deal. They've even got awards. The town has been, everything is like probably been removed from the internet on how we're up on a pedestal, and now I think we're off. The pedestal has been removed. Townsend, any awards Townsend may have received probably been deleted from the internet. They're still there. They exist. We got the awards, but I think nobody wants to be behind that, because if ethics wins this case, then we're in trouble. On a lot of things, we can't be trusted. We can't be trusted. Just put it that way. Regardless of anything that's legally done, nobody should trust us, and I am first in line to say that. But this video that I'm going to show you is the Board of Selectmen meeting the other day, 2 nights ago. I attended on Zoom, and I recorded it from home. And I'm going to be starting to do that more often. And I think I figured out my software. Maybe. Let's keep trying. It's not as hard as I thought. I was intimidated, and I think it's easier than I thought. Everybody's doing it on YouTube. It's like, why can't I figure this out? I got to do this. How do they do that? So anyway, here we are, the select board meeting. Now, I put up an unedited and with no commentary. I did no commentary on the main video. It's over 3 hours long. I wanted to just get it up for everybody, and I did. And I doubt that there's a lot of people that watched all 3 hours. The track record on YouTube is most people do not just sit and watch entire YouTube videos, but you should do that for mine, and you should do it for everybody else's, because you never know what we're going to come up with 3/4 of a way through a long video, because there's stuff, YouTubers do not make 3-hour videos for our health. If there's nothing worth watching in 3 hours, we don't publish it. We cut it out. We edit it out. But these select board meetings are full of juicy matter. You gotta watch them. And what's my light doing here? Wow. All right. So I want to get to the point of this. This is really towards the end of the select board meeting. If you want to go back and watch the select board meeting, or wait till it's even on the Townsend YouTube channel, but it's 3 hours and 2 minutes, 3 hours, 2 minutes and 30 seconds approximately, where I'm going to bring us up. And so it's really close to the end. I can't remember how long the select board meeting was. It was just like 3.5 hours or something. It was really towards the end. Maybe these women were tired. I don't know, but they really said some damning things about this ethics hearing. And I am going to give commentary. I'm going to keep stopping it. I know sometimes that's annoying when I do that, but I need to make points. And who knows, maybe I'll run it back again so you can watch it more than once during this video, because I'm shocked by the ignorance of both Laura Schifrin and Veronica Kell. And you'll notice really some of the silence between Nelson and Valerie. I don't have my phone silenced. I usually do. I'll talk to you later. Doing a video. Don't interrupt me. So I'm going to show this one. Yeah. So we're going to see what has to be said. The section of the agenda that this was under was in the select board reports. They're talking about, this might even be an open meeting law complaint. I think it is. It is. Of course it is. I decided that yesterday. That because it's select board members updates, like they're liaisons, and they just give a little bit update of what's going on with some of the other boards, and which most of the time they're not earth-shattering things, but this was not. This doesn't fall under that. Giving an update and giving opinions known and information about the ethics complaint against David Bergeon was not under updates. They gave it during updates, but doesn't fall there. This should have been either executive session or on an agenda item of its own, and they never should have said the things that I'm going to show you they said. This is scary, and as taxpayers, we should be outraged. And because, yeah, you'll find out. Let's go. I'm going to bring this up. Okay. The volume's a little shaky. I apologize. The select board meeting room's volume is a problem to begin with. And I doubled it by recording a recorded. It's not that great. So listen carefully. If you have to rewind and listen to it again, it's worth it to understand what's being said. Now, Laura Schifrin is going to be opening the door on this conversation. Oh, I got to find it again. Oh, man. Let me find play. Is that it? That's it. I found it easily. How about that?
I think it's too bad that we all know that Dave is going through something right now. I think it's really too bad because I've seen his documents and he clearly, to me, in my mind, as liaison with him, did everything appropriately. But
everything was public record.
Everything was public record from like the October-November timeframe before.
I was on the select board and we reviewed it.
And conservation
prior to that date, we were asked to review a stormwater management plan for the facility. So I'm not exactly sure what this is about, and I really think that we should be at any hearings that are held and supporting Dave.
Okay, this is where Veronica admits, but she believes she admits to being deeply involved in the process of this, the process of getting the plant going. And I think what these women misunderstand, and they stated, I mean, I think they both stated that they don't know what this is about. Veronica clearly said that. She doesn't know what this is about. She's been involved in the process from the beginning, and Lori, introduced it, and it's October, November timeframe, and all these things that they approved, or that Veronica approved back when she was on the select board the first time. And I have to agree that sure, and whatever the select board did, there are I'm babbling, sorry. There are a lot of public records about the design stages, and multiple boards had to approve things. The building inspector probably has a long laundry list. You can probably go online to the building department and look up all the permitting. I believe, I think it should all be online. Everything, we have online permitting now, and I think we already had that. It's probably online. If it's not, I'm sorry, but I think it is. I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure all of the water facility permits are there. And that would be, but probably somewhere after the permitting process, after the bidding process, I should say. But Veronica just mentioned the stormwater stuff, and there's different plans that have to be approved by the Board of Selectmen. And I remember that there was some debate that the water department was doing everything they could to make Dave I don't remember the right title, but they had to have a certain person running the thing, running everything, and who was qualified. And Dave had been, based on his past experience and different trainings he's had and certifications, he was qualified. The problem was overtime, and they had to, because he had to do his regular job plus this, which was very time consuming, and he did it. I'm sure that we paid him appropriately. And I remember that being an issue that the Board of Selectmen were very concerned with, legalities in particular. And if I recall, I think, council did give advice. I don't remember specifically what it was, but they got through this thing in that regard. All the official communication and documents, absolutely, Veronica's telling the truth. They're public records. But, and the most telling thing that Veronica said right there was she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what this is about. And that is her utter failure as a select board member, saying everything else that they're saying. That if you don't know what this is about, then shut up. Please, you're putting yourself and you're putting the town in jeopardy by continuing this type of conversation, because not knowing what's going on, and then she just said that we should be attending these hearings and supporting Dave. And you can attend the hearings, and it's on Zoom, and everything is private. Like, I was on Zoom, and I'm sure, and I've talked to other people who were on Zoom as well on this pre-hearing conference that was on Monday. And what the leader of the hearing, they did it as a webinar, which is proper. That's the best way to do things, a lot of things on Zoom, where you're not going to have anybody on Zoom participating in the meeting. Well, actually, everybody was on Zoom. Anyway, I'm not going to explain Zoom to anybody. I'm going to turn the volume off on my phone because I keep getting notifications. I used to keep my volume off all the time, and I changed my tactic, and it's messing me up. But anyway, the way the Ethics Commission did their Zoom meeting, they did it as a webinar. So they controlled who was visible, who was, like you see now, these guys are all visible. And also, for everybody that logged in on Zoom, there could have been hundreds of people on there. I doubt there were that many, but there was probably at least half a dozen. I know of at least 2 other people in Townsend that were on the hearing, and I was on specifically wanting to record it so that I could share it with the townspeople, and I did. But the leader explained at the very beginning that, anybody who's logged in on Zoom can watch this hearing, but everything is disabled. You can't speak. You're not visible to the public. No one can see. The leaders can see who was in attendance, but nobody could see each other. Like, I have no idea who was logged in on that Zoom meeting. The only thing I could see is the people who are part of Dave. I could see Dave, people that were invited to participate in the webinar. And my understanding is that's how our school district does it too now, but that's a sidebar. as far as, so them attending the hearing, you're not showing support to anybody because nobody knows you're there. Dave doesn't know you're there. I can't tell you there. The Ethics Commission can see who's there. I don't even know if, I don't know if Dave, where he's an invitee, he might be able to see who's in there. But there's no communication between the presenters or the general public who's logged in to see what's going on. That is just not visible. So showing support for Dave, or even if you're not showing support for Dave, nobody knows. The public will never know you were there unless you tell people, oh, I was there, I watched it. Can't tell. Or you could do a video of yourself there on while you're Zooming. I don't know. You could do that. I'm here. You know, you could do something like that. But there's no way. There's just no way. So again, Veronica doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know. Of course, she didn't watch the first hearing, so she doesn't know. She hasn't even seen the video. As far as I know, I am the only person who made a video of the hearing or the pre-hearing conference that was held on Monday for Dave Rajan. So what you're going to hear in a minute is some conversation about a video that's circulating. That's mine. I'm the only video that I know of. If somebody else did a video, let me know. But I haven't seen it. And I want to, as we get forward into this, it's important for you to know, again, I have to tell people, just a reminder, that I am not on most of the Facebook groups that are in Townsend. Some of my stuff gets shared there, for good or for bad. I don't know. Sometimes I hear about stuff like I'm going to hear in a minute, but I can't see it. I'm not a participant. Sometimes I get people send me screenshots. I would love it. The really vile conversations that happen on what's going on, disgusting Townsend. I should call it that. Disgusting Townsend, Townsend United or something like that. There's a couple other ones. I'm only on Just Politics, Townsend What's Going On Part 2, and Uncensored. Those are the only 3 Townsend groups I'm on. If you guys out there see stuff that's posted, my stuff is posted, or there's these really interesting conversations you want me to know about, please do a screenshot. I won't out you. I won't get you in trouble for sending me the screenshot. I will protect your identity. I promise you. But you can send it to me through Messenger, maybe. You can send it to me. My email address for this channel is posted in the description of the channel. Yep. If you're not really up on YouTube, you can find it. Click on the title. Click on Real Deal Around Town, where that is shown, the title of my channel, and the description will come up, and you'll see my email address for use for this channel. And you can send me stuff. If you send me vulgar things that you're attacking me or something, I'm just going to delete them and take note of who might have sent it. I don't know. If you're jerks, be a jerk. I don't care. But anyway, do send me these screenshots. Send it to me anonymously, hide your identity. Or if I know who you are, I will not out you, I promise. But I do want to see it, and I might use your content, of course. But I won't, I will make sure I hide where I got it, I promise. And I'm sorry to keep going on that. But I want you to know I don't see that stuff. So I have no idea what's being done or said. And it's when I hear it, I'm like, are you kidding? But that kind of all the vile conversations are just not happening on the pages I'm on. And I don't think it's even the admins that are, I'm an admin on What's Going On Part 2. And there have been some things I've deleted, even though originally the rule was nothing got deleted, but it was just too much. It went too far. So I have a limit. I'm pretty open, but I have a limit. But I'm going to let this continue. But this conversation is frightening, that these two women, Nelson sitting there, I'm sure the voice in his head is going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, is this almost over? Will they stop talking? Hopefully Nelson knows that this is wrong. But the fact that they're even having this conversation is ethically questionable. And they certainly don't know what they're talking about. As select board members, when somebody has an ethics complaint like this, they need to stand down. The legal, I'm certain that if town council were asked about what can we do, what can't we do, he would advise them to shut up. Don't say anything at a meeting. And when I was talking about zooming in on going on Zoom for the hearing, the entire Board of Selectmen can go on there. They don't have to post a meeting because nobody knows they're there. They can't say anything anyway. They're just watching somebody else's meeting. It's completely legal. There's no one, so it's fine. They don't have to post, but they can watch it. But if they don't want to watch it, they can wait and watch it on my video with my commentary. You get my 2 cents with it. It's probably the only way you're going to do it. The Ethics Commission does not post videos of their hearings. So get over it. But if you do a search on YouTube and you just go, you want a Massachusetts Conflict or Ethics Commission, you know what comes up? My video. I love it. I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, that's my video. All right. I'm going to stop babbling. Okay. Listen carefully.
There was a hearing yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was on Monday, I believe.
Were you on it?
I wasn't on, but I watched it after. I wasn't able to do it on Monday.
How did you get the
2
link?
o'clock. I think it's on YouTube.
Okay,
I think it's on YouTube.
all right, thank you.
And that's Lori's plug for my channel. She probably doesn't even know it was my channel. I'm certain that somebody posted my video on one of these channels, because what she's going to say next, I have not seen. I would love to see it. If somebody could send me a screenshot of what she's about to talk about, I'd love it. That would be interesting, because I haven't seen what she's about to say. But I don't think she knows it was my channel.
What's really sad is it's so convoluted. And to say that, I mean, things were said that I do not believe are factual on this.
That's why the town needs to be
The comments
supporting.
that people were making, they do not know all the ins and outs of it. Somebody had an axe to grind, and somebody knows somebody at the state, and so they're getting him because they want to get somebody else. But he wasn't even involved in the bidding. What he did went to all department heads. They all went to the same departments. Everybody had it before. Things were approved way before. And then it went out to bid by a third party.
I'm going to back up a little bit. When Veronica was talking about the video, I don't know if she doesn't understand Facebook, YouTube, and the internet in general, but certainly she confused Veronica. Veronica's probably all worked up now, even more than she was, because Lori was talking about comments that people were making and these weird accusations that somebody's out to get somebody in the state and all these false things. And what she is referring to, I mean, because I was in the hearing and I recorded it, and you could see the hearing, and everything she just said didn't happen in the hearing. But when she's talking about the comments that were made by people, those comments were made on Facebook, I'm certain, because they weren't in the hearing, but those are comments that were made on Facebook underneath the posting of my video, apparently. And people must have been having a real feisty conversation about this. And I'm going to guess that Lori was involved in it. So I'd really love to see if she was. And Veronica, and I'm sure Valerie, and I'm sure, I mean, Nelson kind of made his face changed a little bit on those, when, seeing the comments. I don't know that he probably hasn't. I don't think he's studying YouTube videos. He's probably too busy for that. But I really believe that Veronica now thinks that some of what she just said happened in the video or happened in the ethics meeting, in this pre-hearing conference that occurred, that there was false statements made and people were attacking somebody. And I think that Veronica has no idea how very regimented the hearing or the meeting was. So, which I think it was well done. The only concern I have about the hearing is that it's very evident that Dave has no idea what he's in. He has no idea. And that made me sad. I'm sad for Dave, but I don't know anymore. These women do not know what this is about. And none of us are really completely advised about what this is about. We may find out on August 8th what this is about, because as you would have seen in the hearing video, is that the Ethics Commission had, or the lawyer had sent him a request, which is required by law. He needs to respond. And it had 30 questions. And he needs to answer all 30 questions. And he didn't. He just made a statement, I guess, and just ignored the format. And if he had a lawyer, the lawyer would have answered each and every question. And based on David's responses in the hearing, I would call him just short of sarcastic, but not. I wouldn't call him sarcastic. That's too strong of a word. If he thinks he was sarcastic, I don't know that, but I think it was just shy of that. And by answering the board members that, or whoever the people that were running this meeting, the conference, that, it's all the same. It doesn't matter what each question, that it's the same answer. I didn't do anything wrong. And that's not how you do it. I'm confident that those 30 questions are at least slightly different. I mean, if you don't have 30 questions, you don't ask 30 questions. So they're different questions and they have different answers. And he needs to answer them. And it's because this is a civil legal procedure. And I'm not a lawyer, so sometimes my wording is off and I might be slightly off. So I'm not giving a perfect example of legal terminology. And I apologize if there's lawyers watching, you're cringing when I speak about this. But I think the cringing is really, I'm cringing by how this board is dealing with this. And they're not dealing, my absolute statement is they are not dealing with this appropriately. And these two women in particular, I think Valerie is deer in the headlights on this, which is fine. Stay there, Valerie. Don't say anything. Don't vote. Certainly don't vote on anything to do with this ethics thing. Valerie, listen to me. I know you're not listening to me on a lot of things I tell you about. You just keep drinking the Kool-Aid, but don't drink this Kool-Aid, okay? Because this could end up with you guys answering those 30 questions. And I don't think you want that. Now, I don't want to see anybody, because you're personally on the hook. The ethics complaint is not against the town. It's against Dave personally, as a person, as a separate entity. The town is not responsible for his anything. It's on him. That's where ethics complaints are different than almost everything else. And that's why people fear them and usually settle, because the evidence is usually abundantly clear. And part of me, I am a strong believer in defending oneself. And yeah, but I think the evidence might be there and Dave just doesn't understand it. He doesn't know where he went wrong. And he hasn't hired an attorney to explain it to him. And I do believe an attorney would say, Dave, just go along. Don't do this and pay him whatever, ask him for a small fine and whatever else they want you to do. I do believe an attorney would tell him that, because the lawyer for the Ethics Commission made it very clear that she's very confident that this is a no-brainer. And I suspect with the intellectual response by these women, it shows. And these women, I don't believe, no matter what happens, that they are going to accept it and they are going to criticize the Ethics Commission every which way but loose on this issue. They are going to continue with the theory that Townsend is above the law. The laws just do not apply to Townsend in any way. And they have just been digging their heels in on everything. And it's frightening. But they're coming for the town, and they're not going to stop. But anyways, I'm babbling. Let's get back to the video. Listen carefully. I know the volume's not that great.
So to say that the town's going to be sued because somebody got papers beforehand and somebody, first of all, saved the town money, and it wasn't even.
Have we applied for insurance counsel?
Yeah, we're waiting for
We're trying to get
a case was opened and we're waiting.
We're trying to get an official determination from our liability insurance company.
Right. Okay.
I too think we should be helping him. He's got all the documents he needs. Somebody made up a story and somebody at the state has it in for somebody. And that is disgusting.
So Lori's drinking the Kool-Aid that I guess is on Facebook. That somebody made up a story. And I think what that means is whoever filed the ethics complaint, which we don't know. I've been given names and I don't know. It's been a while. This wasn't just done. This was done a while ago. My understanding that the ethics complaint went in quite a while ago. And excuse me. And I'm not going to say the names. When you do an ethics complaint, the Ethics Commission will tell you, do not tell anyone, because it can go very badly for you. They don't say that much. They say, just don't tell anybody. And these are very serious when they come through. So the retaliation against somebody who files an ethics complaint can be horrendous. And I have to agree, after just thinking about some of the ethics issues that have come around. You can go on the Ethics Commission's website and see. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't tell anybody, because people are losing their shirts when an ethics complaint goes through and it is found to be a violation. There's a lot of money involved, millions sometimes. And this could be one of those. So you don't want to reveal. And if you suspect somebody filed a complaint, we should all shut up and not spill that information. We should ensure that we protect whistleblowers. We should protect people who turn people in, because the complaint filer is not the one who proves anything. They give what they can. They say, this is why I think this person violated ethics. This is wrong. This is crazy what's going on. In the Ethics Commission, it's all lawyers, let me tell you. And they investigate. They look and they interview witnesses. So they've interviewed people in town. I'm confident that they have. And they've gotten a boatload of evidence about this, and which there probably doesn't even have to be that much. And based on what Dave keeps saying, it's 2 emails. That's what Dave keeps saying. And he said it in the hearing too. And I don't, it's not a hearing, it's a conference. But that he's basing the accusations against him on 2 emails. And I'm assuming in the rules of turning over evidence, I don't know if the word discovery is the right word in this type of a legal context, but I'm sure he knows, maybe he should know what the state has on him. And those 30 questions might say something too. But I think he's just mad and he doesn't want to deal with any of this. And it's going to harm him badly. But hell, even if he had a lawyer, that could save the town too. But here we are. And Lori's conversation, what she just said was pretty frightening about people are saying that somebody's going to sue. And I believe that is a potential possibility of other bidders suing the town because this happened. And I'm concerned. I have a lot of concern. And I do think these women and Nelson need to seek legal counsel on what they're up against, what could happen. And that's where they should speak to counsel, town council, or someone to just advise the town of their potential liability, not simply in Dave's ethics complaint, because that's really outside the scope, but what can happen next. That is critically important, that these people depicted right in front of you should get legal advice on what can happen if Dave is found to be in violation of ethics, what kind of liability can come next. My concerns should be addressed, that the bidders who lost the bid, could they sue, and what does it mean if they do? And are we covered? Does our liability insurance cover that? I mean, they were just talking about insurance counsel. They had been talking about insurance counsel, but I don't think that has anything to do with getting sued or this is not, insurance counsel. That's kind of weird. I don't think that's at all what applies here. Our liability insurance policy would apply, but not at all what's going on with Dave. It would only apply to what can happen later. And even then, I don't know. And if we end up with that kind of lawsuit, I'm sure it exceeds the policy limits. I don't know. I really don't know how this is going to play. It's not a good deal here, but at all. I don't know. But anyway, using town resources for Dave's ethics hearings is a 0. You can't do it. That's an ethics problem from the go. These people can't get involved here. They can't support Dave. They have to stand down and watch like the rest of us. And they should be getting advice on what to do after. Like, what exposure does the town have to what this could lead to? That's after the fact. They can't stick their nose in to what's going on in ethics, because just the statements that Lori made some really brilliant statements, but Veronica saying, I was involved in this from the beginning. Oh, you're confessing to that. But everybody's talking about all these public records, and which public records doesn't mean that they're not criminally liable. Just because something's a public record doesn't mean they aren't evidence of a crime. Hello. And the way we haven't heard from the Ethics Commission, we're going to find out about these 30 questions. I believe they're going to go over them in the next conference on Friday, August 8th. but we can't just ask for them because it's part of an investigation. So we can't just get a public record. I've already did a public records request to find out what I could about Gary, and they denied me. So which I knew they would, but I wanted to go through the motions anyways to see if I could get even an admission. And they wrote it perfectly well that no, there's no admission there. They didn't give me any evidence of evidence. So no, and they're good. They know what they're doing. They know how to respond. And there was just nothing, no meat there. But these folks are going down the drain on this ethics thing. And everything they're saying here puts again these people in jeopardy on more ethics complaints about their involvement in the development of the water treatment facility. If they say, they may have even said too much already in this meeting, in just this meeting, as far as admitting their responsibility in the bid process. And I want to educate people too. I'm not a certified bid person. There's MCCPO certification for being a purchasing officer is a particular class, and it's kind of pricey to take to get that certification. It's not something your average citizen would want to do. You really need to be either working for a company or working for a town that's going to be involved in the bid process to get that certification. And it's like ethics on steroids, or how the bid process is properly done. And there's a lot of steps, but I lost my train of thought. Oh, but the bidding process begins when you decide you're going to do something. You're doing something that requires bidding. So the bidding process began when the discussion began that we need a water treatment facility. All of that. That's when, I mean, ethics is always around us, but making all the steps necessary to get that building even in the plans, to start the study, to start the research, to do all of these things. It's all of it is covered under the ethics rules. So even though, I mean, the public records might be the damning evidence that the Ethics Commission has, and that much of this process might not have been, maybe should not have been public. Some of the public records maybe shouldn't have been public, and that they were confidential, maybe. And we'll find out when this, assuming that David continues to maintain his innocence and refuses to budge, to agree to anything, we may find out things that will be shocking. And I suspect that might be the case. But let me get back to the video and I'll stop running my mouth.
Because that building is, we're so fortunate to have that happen here for Townsend. Not only that, but have it come in at less money than it would have cost us, and then have Dave, who has a certain license, so he could be the superintendent of something else, that ended up saving $700,000 by him working overtime. It's crazy. Just.
So Lori sees the end justifying the means. And that's where corruption comes in. And it just seeps right in there and gets you. Because her proposition or proposing here is that the end justifies the means. We saved money. It was cheaper to do what we did. When she's not even, I'm sure she doesn't know what we did. She knows less than Veronica. There's too many V's here. Lori knows less than Veronica. Lori doesn't even know the difference between a Facebook post and the actual actions by the commission. And Veronica is now confused because she thinks everything that Lori is saying about what was said, Veronica thinks that what Lori said happened in the hearing when it didn't. This was Facebook posts by people who just wanted to argue the point in Facebook, which is normal. It's nothing wrong with that. But it can be confusing if you don't know the difference between Facebook and YouTube, or Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. You got to know the difference. You got to know what you're looking at. Oh my goodness. I think we're close to the end of this conversation. Let me see.
Crazy. Anyway, so that's that one. I did that one.
All right. Yep. That's the end. That's the end of the conversation. But basically, let me get this out of here. Forgot what I'm doing. Oh, there it is. And somehow, I hope it doesn't look like that to everybody. Stop screen. Okay. So that is frightening. You should all be frightened by that diatribe that just happened at that meeting. But they were really believing that they have an obligation to defend Dave against these false accusations by this imaginary person who wants to get somebody, and that there's somebody at the state level who wants to get somebody. That's all BS. I don't believe that there's somebody on the ethics commission that just wants to get somebody in Townsend. I just don't believe that. I believe that they have a case. I do believe they have a case. And we're going to find out what it is. And I mean, I do feel bad for Dave at this point, because I think he just doesn't know. If the ethics commission is right and he's hands down guilty, Dave doesn't understand something. There's something in what he did that he did not know he was breaking the law. And there's a saying that we all kind of get hit on it once in a while. Ignorance is no excuse. If you don't see a speed limit sign, that doesn't mean you didn't know the speed limit was 25 and you're going 60. You can't use that. I didn't see the sign. That's, we know that when we're talking about small stuff like this. But this is where it really counts. When you're having when Ethics Commission has decided that they're going to take you to task and charge you with violating the ethics, get a lawyer. That's the biggest legal advice I give to anybody. Get a lawyer. You need a lawyer for this. And I can't stop repeating myself on that. And no, the town of Townsend can't give you one. The Board of Selectmen wants to pay for his lawyer. They want to defend him with town resources. They can't do anything with town resources. They can't do anything with town resources regarding this ethics complaint. They need to stand down and watch like the rest of us. And as individuals, they can say, Dave, get a lawyer. They can, as individuals, write checks. I'd say hand them some cash, but that might be an ethics problem too. They could, as individuals, but I mean, they're on the hook. The more Veronica says and the more Lori says about this case, the closer to being on the hook they are, because they could open up something with them if Veronica keeps saying, I was involved with this from the beginning, and they have all the emails. So I think if they were going to charge Veronica, they would have. But I think from going by what Dave said, he keeps saying there's only 2 emails. I don't think the Board of Selectmen were on those 2 emails. Doesn't make any sense. I think based on what the original complaint said, the press release that the ethics put out at the beginning of all this, was that Dave communicated with Gary Shepherd, and he communicated with 2 of Gary Shepherd's companies, representatives other than Gary. I forgot the name. Well, his primary company is Shepco, but then he has a drilling company, Overland Drilling or something. I'm close. If that's not right, it's close. But and that it wasn't just one. It was discussing what was required in the bid, is what I understand is the accusation. And this is not, no matter what Veronica Kell says, I was involved I saw all of this. No, you haven't. I don't think you have. I think that there's more. And there might even be more than the 2 emails. I mean, the backdrop, the evidence in its entirety may very well be many of those public records that Veronica's talking about. But these women have no clue, and they need to shut up. And you can't provide any town resources, either town employees. Like, you can't ask Nelson to do stuff for him. You can't. And if Nelson does stuff for him, he's in violation of ethics too, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know for sure. I don't know. They can't. Just the fact that they brought this up at a select board meeting and had the conversation that they just had, because they did instruct that Nelson to do something regarding this case. So I believe it's an open meeting law complaint or violation. And it may have ethical concerns too. It might be beating a dead horse on that, but I think that just that meeting, the 3, I don't know how many minutes, 10 minutes they talked about this. And I've been babbling on for an hour almost. So I'm going to end this. I got to review this video and make sure it was going to work okay. I had some, I don't know. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Again, I really appreciate you to like my videos, share them, and whatever Facebook page you want. And like, share. Oh, and of course, got to subscribe. I think in the bottom right-hand corner of this video, opposite from where it says real deal right there, somewhere right there. And then it says subscribe over here someplace, right? It's not there when I'm seeing it, but it will show up on YouTube. And then you got my logo here somewhere. Logo's right there. Got it? Boy, this is fun. Mirroring. Yee! So, okay. All right. So thank you again. I really appreciate people watching my videos, and it really helps when you like them, share them, and make comments. Please give me comments. And I'd really like to know, I'm doing a survey, if you like the music. I got music. I play this music at the beginning and the end. Sometimes I change it out. I would like to hear whether you guys like it or not. Or, I can't take really suggestions because I have to use video audio that's not copyrighted, So, or that they allow YouTubers to use. So it gets dicey there. So, but just let me know if you like it, or nah, it's not you, Cindy. That's fine. All right. Here we go with the music. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.